The Connection podcast, hosted by Yuma County Anti-Drug Coalition and Yuma County Mental Health Coalition, is a community-focused podcast dedicated to informing, educating, and empowering listeners on drug prevention, mental health awareness, and strengthening partnerships for a healthier future.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Joanne Pfizer, the Executive Director of the Yuma County Anti-Drug Coalition, and we welcome you to the Connection podcast. Today I have as my special guest Henry Gonzalez, and I'd love to have you introduce yourself and your position.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi, folks. Henry Bo Gonzalez. All my friends and family know me as Bo Gonzalez, and I'm the Director of Health and Safety for the Yuma Union High School District here in Yuma. Born and raised here. I'm a Yuma guy. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you. I love that you're here on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
But even more that you're a champion of the Yuma County Anti-Drug Coalition, and now together we are Yuma County Anti-Drug Coalition with the Mental Health Coalition.
Absolutely.
And we're really, really excited about that and everything that's
Absolutely.
happening with it.
Yeah.
But you've been part of our coalition since, I want to say, I don't know.
2000. So I started 2018-ish.
There we go.
And so this goes back to when I was actually, so prior to my employment with the district, I worked with the Yuma County Juvenile Court. I was a probation officer, probation supervisor, retired there after serving our community for 20 years. And it was during that time, my last 8 years, I was the drug court coordinator, and unfortunately saw the negative adverse impacts that substances had on our community. And it was the drug coalition at the time, John Smith, who was our county attorney at the time, was very proactive and invited us to be part of that coalition. And it was kind of in its early stages. And so joined that coalition as a representative of the juvenile court, saw the great work that was going on in our community, and I've been part of the coalition ever since, and then continue to be part of that as I transitioned over to my new role as the health and safety director at the district.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've been awarded different fentanyl awareness awards with the state, and
Yeah.
we were able to showcase that at one of our coalition meetings.
And
Tell us
it's
a little bit.
So recently, just kind of the work that I did throughout the state, again working with our juvenile court in awareness and education. And I think that's why I love the work of the coalition, because there's just so much to do in the arena of awareness and education. And I've shared this story before. I was at a national award ceremony, and I'm surrounded by law enforcement. And these were awards that were going out to folks that were doing some very serious drug interdiction, federal officers who were involved in some very serious drug cases. And I had my team of folks that were going across the state working with Arizona HIDA, who were going around training adult and juvenile probation departments in the One Pill Can Kill curriculum to take out, to provide awareness and education to justice-involved folks.
That's awesome.
And so we had received an award for those efforts. And so in the midst of all of these folks that were receiving awards, I had, at the time, the acting director of ATF came down, and he sought us out, and he said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know that I really appreciate the work that you were doing. And here's a gentleman that is very high level law enforcement, and it's very important that we've got our law enforcement partners that are out there on the front lines in the drug interdiction, that are out there getting the bad guys off the streets, that are out there focusing on the drugs." But he recognized the importance of the work that we were doing behind the scenes in providing awareness and education, because that was in the midst of fentanyl, when fentanyl was kind of at its highest, and it was really hitting hard in the state of Arizona. It was really hitting hard in our community, and it was super motivating, and it was refreshing, and kind of took that back to our coalition, and just kind of continued the work here to motivate and encourage our folks, our group. And kind of saw that coalition start with a very small group, and now we've grown that to over
We have over 70 attending,
70
but over
regular folks.
180 on our champion
180
list.
folks that are part of this community that care about awareness and education.
And people traveling from the state.
And
We have DDRO that comes in
absolutely.
from Tucson
Yeah.
consistently. Haida just joined our coalition,
Yeah.
and she travels from Tucson. We
Yeah.
have Arizona Department of Liquor and License Control.
Yeah.
They're coming from Phoenix. They're part of our coalition
Awesome.
now.
Awesome work. Awesome work.
So many good things.
And you've heard me say this. What I love about this group is that it's not just a group that comes together once a month and, we don't just have lunch and talk about. We're an actionable group, right? We're out
Yes.
there on the front lines. You've been at the schools a number of times. You've been out in the community a number of times. This group has put billboards. So when folks are driving down the interstate and they look up and they see, hey, one pill can kill fentanyl, what is that?
Right.
This group has sponsored a number of youth sports programs within our community,
Right.
right? And we're talking over 1,000 youth that now have received the message of the coalition and Yuma Cares.
Right.
Guys, that wasn't easy, right? That was all because of the work of the coalition and all of the folks that come to that meeting on
Right.
a monthly basis
And all the events that these people attend.
and all of the events.
Oh my gosh.
I saw the Yuma County Anti-Drug Coalition for the first time in over a decade bring back the grad night event, which was something that, I think I shared with I was born and raised here in Yuma, and something that we always looked forward to growing up was we had a big grad night event.
Right.
And the grad night event gave local seniors, a safe place to go, a safe
Correct.
space. Absent parties and drinking and
Right.
bad things that were going on, and give them a safe, fun environment. Well, unfortunately, that went away for the past 10 years. Well, enter the Yuma County Drug Coalition, Miss Pfizer, and she says, hey, we can make that work. Let's bring that back. And sure enough, last year at Desert Sun Stadium, for the first time in a decade, with the help of the coalition and the great volunteers, we made that happen.
It
And
was
you provided a
awesome.
safe space. And again, it's not just a group of folks that come together and we eat and we talk. There's action that's taken place, and that's the great thing about the coalition.
Well, and I appreciate you sharing that information. The kids loved it. The high schools embraced it.
Yeah.
They shared the information. It was a collective effort. The whole community was so happy that it was coming back
Absolutely.
and, supported it. This year, it's going to be even bigger and better. We're hosting it inside the Civic Center, which is going to be nice because of the weather elements.
Climate,
It
yeah,
got
it's hot,
really
it's hot. Yeah.
well.
It's
Last
May.
year it got cold. It was crazy. It was windy, cold,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this party is from 11 at night to
Yeah,
3 in the
yeah.
morning. So
Yeah.
it's going to be so much fun. But knowing now that we have embraced the Mental Health Coalition, being part of everything that we're
Sure.
doing, it just intertwines
It does.
so
It
well.
does. And I can tell you that in 20 years working with justice-involved youth and seeing the adverse and negative impacts of substances, I can tell you this, that there is a direct correlation between mental health and substances. Very rarely was it a situation where I would see young people addicted or using substances because it was just, hey, let's use substances. Oftentimes, more likely than not, there was an underlying mental health reason as to why that gave rise as to the use of that substance. So I'm excited and I'm happy and I'm proud that we've got a coalition that recognizes, hey, we need to bring folks together.
Correct.
I've said this before, that substance abuse is not an issue that is any one person or any one entity's problem. It is a community problem.
You have said that
And
multiple
community
times.
problems require a community response. Mental health requires a community response. It's
Right.
not just a problem that interfaces with our schools or our law enforcement partners or our mental health partners or our medical folks or our
Right.
community, but rather it's a community problem that requires a community response. And I have no doubt that the Yuma County Mental Health Coalition, in collaboration with the Drug Coalition,
Right.
are going to further those efforts and again bring folks to the table to create awareness and reduce stigma
Right.
that surrounds the concept of mental health.
Well, and I see it amplifying. Like you said,
Absolutely.
you know, bringing those people together, working together. We already have close law enforcement meetings going on because of our coalition
Absolutely.
trying to make a difference in that
Absolutely.
mental health arena. I just know that it's a big impact for the schools and where you are in your world too.
Absolutely.
You
And,
know?
and I project this, I recently shared at the coalition meeting, we talk about data and numbers, and numbers don't lie. Numbers tell a very telling picture. And so recently I shared that the Arizona Criminal Justice Commission every few years have a Arizona Youth Survey, which is 15 counties, all 15 counties across the state, grades 8 through 12 youth receive a survey. Among information within that survey, questions reference substance use. One of the findings from 2020 to present is that youth are now more aware in 2024 as to the dangers of fentanyl.
Yes.
And I firmly believe that that is because of the good work of coalitions that exist, like the coalition here in Yuma County, that provides awareness and education. It's the billboards. It's the support of the youth sports programs. It's going into the schools.
Red
It's
Ribbon Week.
informing parents.
Yes.
It's Red Ribbon Week, right?
We took over the whole month
It's
for that.
it's all of those efforts that are providing the awareness and knowledge to folks that I believe are showing positive results.
Right.
So I'm hopeful that we're going to see with the implementation of the Mental Health Coalition that here in the very near future we're going to start to see awareness. Right? We talk about this reduction of stigma, where we
Yes.
talk about it's okay to recognize that folks struggle,
Right.
and it's okay if you need help to reach out and seek that help. But it's also a forum to let folks know, like, hey, these are the local community resources. We've got an awful lot of support here locally. You've got help. If you're struggling, there's help that's available. And so we just want to make sure that folks are aware of where they can go,
Right.
if that help's needed. In my position as a director of health and safety, I want to ensure that our students are aware of where they can go. We've got resources within the school system. I've got social workers at every campus, with the exception of Somerton, although that is something that we're focusing on. But there's social workers who can provide a level of mental health service to our youth that are struggling.
Counselors, yeah.
And then we've got counselors that are also on campus. In the event a young person is struggling and perhaps their need is beyond the scope of what a social worker can provide, we are contracted with a local community provider of integrated health, where we can then refer and hand off a young person or perhaps provide some family services for them. And so that didn't exist 20, 30 years ago when I was in
Right.
school,
Yeah.
but it does now. And that's exactly what's needed. And so all in all, I'm super happy that we have a coalition now. It's very much needed. And I think we're in great hands with Ms. Feiser and Ms. Jenny LeGros at the helm. And I'm excited about the work.
Well, we're
doing.
excited to immerse into the community and into the schools, because it is great to start with the youth. And it's nice that we have been there for, drug prevention and awareness in that realm. But also that mental health, like you said, it just is intertwined. It goes together, one with the other, and being there together to be able to give that information to the
Absolutely.
staff or to the kids.
Absolutely.
It's just going to bring a healthier community, safer community all the way around. I've always said, and I know that you've heard me say this multiple times, but knowledge is power.
It is.
And it's
100%.
not just power for adults, but it's power for community.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, speaking, when the networking opportunities that exist at our coalition meetings, it's not just that we, on a monthly basis come together and we've got speakers that will come in and we're sharing, whether it's opportunities to hear about services that are offered here locally or
Right.
perhaps across the state, or we've had AZ High to come in. But then after those meetings, to look around the room and you've got folks that are interfacing with each other.
Yes.
You've got different organizations, and that is just as powerful.
It's
when
super
different
powerful.
organizations are talking to each other and, hey, what service do you have available? Or, hey, what organization are you with, right? And Yuma's just still got that small town feel,
Yeah.
right? And when you know somebody and when you can pick up the phone and make a phone call, there's power to that. And
Or
that is super
attend a
helpful.
meeting. There's almost 100 people there. Someone you didn't know that could help. Like you say, what do you have?
Absolutely.
And all of that.
Absolutely.
And to say, oh my gosh, I need to talk to them.
Sure.
They
Yeah.
could help so and so, or how do I get that information? Well, one of the best ways that I feel is one of the best ways is just to go to ycadc.org, because all of our resources are listed there. And so
Absolutely.
if they're looking for, I'm just going to throw out there TLCR, they can find TLCR under our resources. Click on the link, takes you directly to their website.
Yeah, and I'll give you an example. Not too long ago, you might remember, there was a group from Tucson, a nursing group that
Yes.
provided in-home nursing for young mothers. And I reached out to you. I said, hey, I missed who that was. You're like, I got them. They're on our resource list. You provided their contact. I was able to reach out, have them come down, and they gave an in-service to our social workers.
She was amazing, Amy Rivera.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so that's why it's important for us to
Yes.
have those networking opportunities. And that's just, again, another invaluable element to partnering and having our coalition meetings on a monthly basis. So if anybody's listening out there,
Yes.
it's just an appeal for you to be part of this great organization. Come together. Again, 60, 70 some odd folks. We pack the Yuma Union High School District on a monthly
Office,
basis.
yes.
And it's a great opportunity for us to network and learn about all of the, whether it be substance abuse, services, or topics, but also now mental health
Right.
here in our community.
And what's nice is that we do provide those presentations that give you nuts and bolts.
Sure.
So we have all these resources around the table, and we have those people that present about their resources that could help us in our community. And you go away with something.
You do, absolutely.
You
Let me tell you,
totally do.
So I spent 20 years in law enforcement, and I was the drug court coordinator. And I've only been out for 2 years, but we recently had one of our surveillance officers, school resource officers, come give a presentation on kind of some of the current vape trends. And I thought I knew, but I didn't know.
Right.
There's always room to grow. There's always
Yes.
new current trends that I feel that we need to be made aware of, whether you are representing an organization or if you're just a parent like me.
Yes.
Right? And so just super informative. You always do a great job, Joanne, of making sure that we've got great presenters,
Thank you.
presentations, and we've got great knowledge coming out
We
of
just
our,
have great people around the table. And that's our community supporting each other. And like you said, small town, Yuma, Arizona, tight-knit community, we reach thousands.
Sure.
And just making our community safer and healthier for everyone, it's so important.
It is.
I love that you can go to ycadc.org and you can actually ask for an invite to our coalition meeting. So we can send you a formal invite, get your RSVP, and have you help our community be healthier and stronger and safer. I think it's just a win-win.
And exactly right. And you know what? Whether you represent an organization or whether you're a parent or whether you are just a concerned community member, I think the health, wellness, and safety of our citizens and our youth, that's something that we can all subscribe to.
Oh,
we can all
totally.
subscribe to that.
And the more the better.
Yeah.
The message gets amplified. We can help our neighbor. Like I always mention that, hey, you're getting this information for yourself.
Yeah.
You're helping yourself and your family.
Yeah.
But what about your neighbor? What about your coworker? How can you be there for others? And with the Mental Health Coalition, part of, this community and now sharing those tools, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I
Sky's the
think,
limit.
sky's
Absolutely.
the limit. I'm super excited. I'm super happy that you were able to be here
Yeah,
today.
no,
Was there
always.
anything else that I would love for you to share? Anything else on your heart that you can think of that, like I said, you've been part of this since, 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
You have a lot of, growth, because you've been part of this coalition for so long. I just
Yeah,
think it's
no,
important to.
Just again, the historical perspective. John, again, I go back to John Smith, our
Yeah.
former county attorney, and he, just not too long ago, he said, Bo, like, I remember when this organization, it was during the methamphetamine, when Yuma was struggling with methamphetamine, and he remembers being, I think, down at either City Hall or maybe it was at the police
Don't meth
department.
with us. I
And
think
he
of
said it was him and just a few folks, and he was like, "Wow, look at how we've grown," and just kind of a true testament to the work that has gone on behind the scenes, and just a testament to the work and the the commitment that we all have as folks that just care about one another here in Yuma. We care about, again, the health, wellness, and safety of our youth and the folks here, and so I'm just excited. I've like I said, been part of this organization since 2018. I've seen it grow. I have been national awards in Washington D.C. and have had folks that very high ranking positions come down and say, hey, thank you for the work that you are doing on the front lines, because awareness and education matters.
Right.
And that just motivates the heck out of me to continue doing the work that we're doing. And so, let's
keep doing it.
Let's keep on keeping on.
And I think together we can.
You're right.
Yeah.
Together we can.
Together
we're gonna put that
we
on the back of
can.
a t-shirt, right?
Together
we
we can.
Yeah.
Thank you again,
Yes,
Henry,
ma'am.
for being our guest. And
Yeah.
like I said, you can find us at ycadc.org. Send us an email and we'll send you an invite to our next coalition meeting. But thank you for being here today.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a great day.
See ya.